Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fragments. This is a D&D campaign I'm playing with my friends, and these are my friends. Oh! Hello, everybody. So what an adventure last time. So when we last were in game and we were adventuring, we were swashbuckling on the high seas, Jackson's absolute worst place to be. But this time, Jackson had control of a swathe of archers. Sariel had control of a significantly smaller swathe of archers, and Killian had control of a bronze dragon, even. And
a dragon and a small boat, and Jackson had a marder.
it was all on the rolls, so nothing to do with me. Like, so, it's your own lousy dice rolls. And you had defeated a sort of priestess kind of fish person, her pet water elemental that was gigantic and kept enveloping things, and a whole host of little goopy, big-eyed fish dudes that were in the water who were trying to attack the ice bridge that connects the main continent, central continent on Earl of Gregden, to the southern continent of Earl called Frohast. And you made your way in your big boat all the way up to the edge of the bridge on the Gregden end, where there was kind of lift contraptions that could like lift you up and down from the thing, but there wasn't a safe place to really moor or anything like that. There's no sort of harbour or anything like that, so storms and things here are going to be quite treacherous to be close to land. Hence why you had to previously moor at Esteland to try and travel the land way across, because Esteland is the nearest safe harbour. Sorry, dog is moaning. So as you were raised up, you tried to examine the body of this priestess and found very little other than a few.
Was she the same race as the other fish people that we did killing?
No, that's what one of the things you did establish. They didn't have the same eyes, didn't have the same sort of layout of face, more flowing, not like a guppy.
Closer to the shark head dude?
No.
Okay.
Give me again.
Less fish. Go away. Bed. Go on your bed.
Toby, get on your bed.
Yeah, you were raised up on the platform onto the battlements of the fortified part of Southgate, and there was cheering, there was vuvuzelas, there was all kinds of stuff going on, and you were celebrated as heroes and welcomed along the battlements, kind of pushed along, if you like, or not really pushed, but like willfully guided, shall we say, along by guards and various people into one of the towers that sits out on the ice bridge of Estland. There's one on each of these two sort of prongs. So as the bridge comes across, it goes into two prongs as it reaches the land. And you were led into if you were looking from south to north, you were led into the right-hand one, or the easterly tower.
Question, is the tower a structure or is it an ice carving?
It is a structure. It is stone.
Okay.
What's happened to our boats? Are all our boats just moored?
Your boats are down in the water at the level of way down from where you are, out at sea. Charlie did offer to stay and watch the boats, but Jax suggested that he should come along. So there is Jax, there is Kills, there is Sariel, and there is Charlie boy, and you all have been led through a chamber that was kind of quite empty, and then you were led up a set of stairs into a larger chamber, and across the far end you saw a throne, and there was a figure, thin, and just kind of legs cocked over the side of the throne, not even sitting on the throne properly or regally, like legs were crossed, and over the arm of the throne, and was just kind of looking expectantly toward the door, knowing that you were on your way, maybe hearing your footsteps, and as you entered, there was just this clapping.
Very sarcastic something.
Can Jax have an insight whether or not that's a sarcastic clap?
Of course you can.
Noble person's clap, because like that will set his whole tone of reaction.
Of course, yeah. You can make a.
Oh, I rolled a 15. So what did that add to it? 16.
So you're looking to see if this is sarcastic.
Basically, is it a sarcastic clap, or is it a well done clap from a sort of a lame noble person?
It's not a sarcastic clap.
Okay.
So this figure.
Could be a negative one.
This figure stops, places hands together, and then sort of lively swings legs round, and kind of one foot then the other onto the floor, hands on the arms of the throne, pushes himself up, and kind of brushes the coat that is on down, and straightens out, and then begins to proceed towards you, very, very delicately. The boots, the room's large, and there's this kind of grey blue tiling on the floor, and the boots clack across the floor, and he just is walking towards you.
Just head over to him. I'm not going to bother standing and doing stuff. And as I get close, I'm going to sort of hold out my arm to sort of, shake hands.
I was going to suggest before you do that I'm a noble, and it might be that the noble wants to speak to the nobles, maybe.
But Jax has already done it. So Jax, you stride out across you go to stride out across the room, and you hear shink behind you.
Okay.
You turn around and have a look.
Turn around and have a look.
It's some guards. They have braced their weapons. Then you hear, please, boys, it's okay. And then they retract their pikes that they're holding, and just stand there and go back to their kind of sentry mode, just standing there watching all proceedings going on. And I presume you carry on walking, do you?
I grab the back of Jackson's armour and pull him backward.
That would be interesting. Sariel pulling Jax. So you grab, make a perception check, Jax. See if you actually feel this at all.
Oh, I rolled a 2, so 3.
So you don't notice that Sariel is grabbing on your armor, and you start pulling a she-elf across the floor, attached, kind of jet skiing along, attached to the back of your armor. Your boots squeak on the floor as you're trying to sort of like hold on to this.
I'm just standing there and just going.
I'm going to let go of Jackson's armour and put my head in my hand and go, well, I tried.
You and Jax continues on and puts out his hand like as.
Well, I'm going for like ideally I want to do the sort of the forearm graspy thingy.
Yeah. You're going for that.
I'm going for that sort of thing. So if he holds out his arm, that's where I plan on grabbing.
You walk across the room, and so does the character, and it looks like you're going to meet in the center of the room. However, there's this moment where he somehow is past you and is walking behind you, and walks right up to Sariel, like this close, and says, "I know you."
Really?
Roll a history.
Can we have that other light on? I'm struggling to see already. Thank you. Sorry, babe.
Whoa, pardon me.
14.
14.
Mhm.
The features look like someone you worked for once.
Is this the I'm trying to remember the details. You told me right back at the beginning of his tale. About somebody. Is this connected to the king that I had the note from?
You're on the right track there. You think this definitely isn't the king.
No.
But the features are there's something about the jawline and the bridge of the nose and the way the hairline is on this.
Could this be a relative of the king?
Quite possibly, yeah.
Okay, what was the king's name? Are you allowed to tell me the king's name?
Yeah, you know that name very well.
She
Because
doesn't.
yeah, well, no. let me reiterate. Lou doesn't.
Yeah.
Sariel knows that name very well.
I was like, no, she doesn't. She's asking you for it.
So the king was Harbold Fenric.
That's the one. Fenric's features same. I'm writing this down now.
Oh, you do need to. And
my notes, is that King of Gregdon? Is
huh?
that a kingdom?
No, not the King of Gregdon.
Okay.
I recognise your face. Are you a relation of Harbold Fendrick? By any chance?
He cocks his head and he says, "Yes, I'm his son, but I can't place you. But I know you. I know you." He says, and the rest of you are just sort of like standing
Just
around.
gonna sort of come back and sort of stand behind him.
Yeah. Okay. He now notices you. Is this just kind of well done, everybody. Fantastic work. We were in quite a pickle there. Thank you for saving the bridge. Amazing work. We would like to offer you. Well, first, can we offer you a place to stay? Would you like? Would you stay with us?
Yes, please. That would be most grateful.
I from behind Sariel, like I look over at Jax and we kind of have that look of kind of like it means not going back to the boat. Like that's the kind of look I give Jax. Like, you know,
that was the first thought Jax had was, yay, not on the boat.
Yeah, that it's like I'm thinking of everybody else, but I'm still stood behind Sariel, like on guard. Do you know what I mean? I'm very much like, I don't know this guy. I've never been here before. Don't trust him. So it's kind of like, if Jax is okay with staying here, then it's fine. Because I think between me and Jax, we've got it covered. Like,
Mr. DM,
Yes.
can I take out the royal sealed letter,
Yes, you can.
please? And I'm trying to. Have I read this royal sealed letter? Or have I left it sealed?
You have.
I have.
It's a letter, and it says it's basically from King Fenric.
Yeah.
Who you knew to be dead. but requesting that you return to Mordensow, which is his home, which is where he rules Frohast from. And it was an offer of a reward for work that you'd done, but you knew the work that you had done had already been paid in already.
Okay. We're not in Mordensow now, are we?
No, you're in Southgate. Mordensow is to the south, so it's across the bridge.
Okay. Youngster, what is your name?
He says, Tustin. My name is Tustin. Tustin Fenric. I'm the Prince Regent.
Tustin, I have on my person a letter with the royal seal from your father. So, when I received this letter, I assumed that your father had sadly passed away. So it was quite a surprise to receive this letter. In this letter, and I get it out.
Mm-hmm.
In this letter, it is requesting I return to Morningside to receive a reward for work I've already been paid for. So it puzzled me greatly why I had this letter. You don't happen to know anything about this, do you?
He picks it up.
I hand it to him.
Okay, you've got it out, and you hand it to him, and he takes it and reads through. To return to his house, and it's obviously a forgery.
I wonder why somebody would want me back to.
I have an insight on that.
Yeah.
13.
You don't know whether he thinks it is a forgery or not, but you wouldn't. He would probably know if it was. He would know his father's hand.
Well, yeah.
I take him.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't know. That's fine. While they're chatting, I'm going to take my pack off, and I'm like going to sort of start undoing my hair braid and like actually drying my hair and stuff, because last thing I was doing was swimming in ice sea and water elemental. So I'm working. We're standing on a big ice cube. It's probably not the warmest place.
He kind of hears this. He's kind of got the letter in the hand, and he turns around and sees you do. He's he whistles.
Don't do that again. You just woke Toby up. Look.
And immediately, as if like by magic, there is an even thinner person than the Prince Regent beside him. With kind of like a light, like a bluish grey skin, and he says, "Thulf, can you please not in the room here?" And Thulf claps, and again, like instantaneously, there are people like grabbing your stuff, Jax, like trying to pick it up off the floor, like picking up your pack and things like that.
That's fine. What? I can carry that, and I'll take it off.
And Thulf, and this character Thulf says, "Please, let us assist you. You look very cold. Do follow me, Mr.
Jackson.
Mr. Jackson.
Just Jackson.
Come with me." And he starts leading you.
I'm gonna just look bemused at Sariel.
I sort of say to Jackson, "Go on, it's all right. Go with them. I've got a few things I need to sort out."
This is like Jackson is not used to be treated royally. Like Jackson has no idea how like royal functioning works. This is like a
None at all. This is completely weird.
yeah. This is like someone trying to.
I am sort of trying to reassure him that it's okay, and somebody else can carry his bag. He just needs to follow.
No, they're not carrying his bag. He's literally going to sort of take that.
He's determined.
Take your own bag, but follow the people that will help you. They'll help you dry off and get warm.
Yeah. So they start leading you away.
Okay.
Down several floors.
I stay with Sariel.
He says, you are sort of correct about dear Papa being dead. It is in question. Hence, I am Prince Regent.
I pipe up. Excuse me.
Yes,
What
Mr.
do you mean? What do you mean in question?
Shall we talk about it over dinner? You look awfully worse for wear, and you have been through a lot, and well, I need to change.
Okay. I would like to know the history, but if we are tired, we've had a big battle, and we could do with a wash up and maybe a change of clothes. Have you got some clothes we could change into for dinner?
He whistles again, and somehow Thulf from downstairs is immediately back by his side. Yes. Find clothes, Thulf. Dress them for dinner. Or don't dress them yourself. God, no. Please find them some things that they can wear. And we are to have dinner. Please tell Cookie. And
will there be fish?
Are you a fan?
No, not anymore.
What can we get you?
Roast cat.
Owlbear.
Owlbear. Now, what a rare treat. I'll ask. Both. Yes. Ask Cookie to look in the larder and see what we have on ice.
We have a freaking owlbear over there by the sounds of it.
So there is this kind of procession out of the room, and you were led several floors down. So you've gone below the level of the battlements, and you are now two floors down from this sort of throne room thing. Charlie says, as you're walking down the stairs, the prince is not with you. He said, "Did you happen to notice in that chamber what wonderful gadgets there were around to the side of the chamber?"
No, I didn't. I was more worried about Harold Fenric. What did you notice, Charles?
Well, there were things like I couldn't quite figure out what it was, but it almost looked like some sort of sextant, some sort of something like that, but I didn't quite work out what it was. I did roll for Charlie because Charlie was rolling crap as normal, but he saw something but didn't know what it was. In the room, and there was like I presume from where I was standing to the east, there was a covered, like it could have been a window.
Curious.
As you get to the floor where you were led in, where there is the door that leads out onto the battlements. Actually, can you make a perception check at that point, please?
Who?
Everybody can make a perception check.
Is Jackson with us then?
No, Jax is gone. Oh, Jax could have done it because Jax would have been led the same way. So Jax and then
I got 17.
Okay.
Can I have my dice, please?
There's Lesak.
23.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh. What am I doing?
Perception.
Perception. Can I have the dice tray, please?
Yeah.
Can you roll it for me, please?
I'll do it behind the DM screen.
Oh no.
Oh, kills.
3.
Jack special.
Yeah.
Kills is enraptured for the first time ever with Charlie. For some reason, talking about this thing. Sariel, as you go down, you try and move a basset hound away from you. Go on your bed. No, as you go.
A very stubborn, fat basset.
Oh my god! Why don't I put Toby in a game? That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
As you move down into that floor, the doors are still open that lead out onto the battlements. And Jax, as you went by, you could still hear cheering and celebrations and things like that going on outside. Still like quite, boisterous would probably be the best way to describe it. Sariel, as you go down, you notice that outside of that door, as you peer through along the battlements, something that you didn't notice as you came in. Upon the battlements, there are flags, and upon it there is a circle like this.
Yeah.
And in the middle there is a dot.
Circle with
just like a circle with a little black dot in the middle, and they're all different colours. They're like the bunting shape kind of flags, like little triangles, not like a country's flag.
triangle's not okay. Yeah.
Not like
I'm drawing
a
it,
rectangle.
so I'm going to redraw it into a triangle.
Yeah, sorry, I maybe should have said the shape first, but yeah, sort of like triangle shape, like bunting, but they're flapping sideways, and on it you see these circles with dots in the centre of them.
Colours. Can I do a history check to see if I know what they are, or an insight?
You would probably have to make a religion check.
Okay.
In fact, that's exactly what you would make. Can you make? You would probably.
I'll make a
have
religion
to.
check. Then, shall I?
like the most indecisive DM. Probably.
Well, I'm rolling better today.
What was that?
21.
No, you know what this is. This is a symbol of a festival that happens every year. In some parts of Earl, and it's a festival called Melora's Eye.
Melora's Eye. And what is that festival about?
It is to celebrate a solar eclipse.
And that's a biannual, an annual one.
Annual, every year.
Yeah.
But certain years, you know that it has different effect, like just the way that the partial eclipse works. The central dot on the thing represents the eclipse. It's not a total eclipse; it's just a partial eclipse, where an object moves across. You could roll me a history, and you might know something else.
Who?
Sarah. Sarah's looking into this.
Sarah's the only one that noticed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
17.
By your reckoning of elven years, as you are older, you think that this might be a particularly significant one, as the celestial object is going to move pretty much as dead center as it can possibly be this year to the solar eclipse. So every year it kind of moves across a little bit, and then this one's like one of the sort of near on perfect alignment sort of type effects.
Is there some sort of again, we'll go with along the history line. Is there some sort of history to these solar eclipses? So the celestial object being in the center a good omen or bad omen, or just something important happens generally in those times?
It's generally a time for almost like a time for change, like rebirth and stuff. So it's it just when it's happening, when these celestial alignments happen, it kind of unites a lot of people, and there's a lot of thoughts in the same direction at these kind of times. Like when there's a solar eclipse here on Earth, where a lot of people look to the skies and
blowing out the retinas, you know.
Yeah.
You have to kill the magic, don't you, Jackson?
Yeah, so you're led down a floor down or so, and through a selection of rooms and corridors and things, and you're led into each a very well appointed bedchamber, with not a grand four-poster, but four-poster beds in each, and you are.
We've got a bedroom each, then, yeah.
Yeah, you've got a bedroom each.
Sorry.
What's that? It's not really good, is it? It's going to just fall apart. Come on.
Sorry, Deb's just like, look at this.
So, yeah, you're led into these bedchambers, and you are. You've got a big bed, which we know Killian loves, and make a wisdom check, Sariel.
Oh. Not being very wise, 7.
Okay. Yeah, you walk down the corridor, and you're led to these rooms. They're well appointed. In each of them, there is sinks or like basins, rather, with water and soap, and there are fragrances and all kinds of things like. Really, really well appointed. Jax, you are led in obviously first, and these people leave you. What would you like to do in this space? You have a large bed. There is places to clean. There is.
So I'll sort of strip off, sort of dry myself, retie my hair, sort of try and dry the arm. I mean, is there a fireplace or anything?
There is. It's warm in this place, but there's not a fire directly.
Basically, try and get my armor as sort of warm and dry as possible.
If you make a perception check for me.
A perception check. 13.
There is a warmer end of the room, and as you walk to that end, you realise there's a outcrop of brick, or the brick is outcrop, and you assume that this is some sort of
Fireplace type thing.
Chimney.
Yeah.
So not a fireplace proper, but there might be a fire below.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll sort of prop stuff up on there for a bit while I'm sort of sorting myself out, and then get dressed back in my armor.
You're going to get dressed into the nice clothes that they've left you?
No.
They haven't bought any clothes yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing
No.
You've all got a room each.
Is there a bathroom?
Not a bathroom. There is like a wide metal kind of bucket, like sink type thing with warm water inside it. And
Can I lay down in it?
Size of Killian? No, you'd probably be able to get your shins in it.
That's rubbish, that is. I asked if they've got a bigger thing I can have a wash in. Killian wants a bath.
Okay. You ask one of the people that kind of ported you there, and then as you ask it again, this blue character arrives, Falth, as you come to know him, and he says, "Of course, come," and takes you down again. So you're no longer on the same floor.
Okay.
You are down another couple of floors.
Okay, as I'm walking down, do I notice anything around?
Make some perceptions. Make 2.
2?
Yeah. As you come
On
down
per
the
floor.
Oh, a 20 and a 13, so a 21 and a 14.
Okay, so on the first floor, you walk past. The door that is open. There's lots of doors as you're kind of going down spiral stairs. The one that is open on the floor next down has a grand fireplace. You feel great warmth coming out, and you see a huge table being set and laid for your supper. You would assume, or your food. There is no smells of food.
No, but the smell of the fire.
The smell of the fire. You smell the fire. Yeah, it smells like a burning fire. As you go down the next bit, you are led past a room that is how to describe it. It looks like it might be. It doesn't. It looks more like a functionary space rather than a room. The next bit. It looks like it might do something else beyond that space that you look into. You can't really get a very clear view of that space. And you come down the next floor, and then you are on a space where there are little sections around, little doorways off on this kind of landing that you arrive on, and this is where you start smelling the food. But he opens this door that is not a food door, but this is a bath door. This is a very warm place.
Killian's little face. I can actually picture you as a dragon at the moment. So I've got so I just got your bean face on a dragon in my head, and that's what you're doing expressions she's doing.
And Dolph gestures you inside. Bath, you said. Bath, you have.
Is the bath full?
As you peer in, it's all very, very beautifully lit, like reddish candles light the walls, and it has a flicker. It's a sensory bath. This place. There are candles inset in the wall. There is a flickering orange glow to the thing, and in the centre of the room there is a bronze or sort of copper bath in the centre of the room with feet. Yeah, of course, with feet.
With the little claws.
Yeah, with the clawed feet just sat completely central to the room.
I think it's been Anne Killian's premium bath.
Oh, don't.
It is. There are the only thing that is a bit strange that you don't really know. You can make a wisdom check, but there's pipes that come down and kind of run beneath it. Beneath it, they kind of come down, run along the copper or the copper bottom of it.
Right, can I find out why?
Yes, you can make a wisdom. Front page.
Yeah.
Wisdom, just straight up wisdom.
17.
You assume that these pipes might be channeling heat.
Oh my god, so it keeps the bath warm for ages.
You think they might be connected to the fires that run the kitchen or something?
Is there water in this bath?
As you enter the room, as you kind of get the perception, Tholf fidgeted you and is almost near magically gone from where you are. Off on another errand, someone probably just has done a click from somewhere and knew that you needed to be there instantaneously. You walk in, the door is closed, and it's a lower ceiling in this place as well. I've got to mention the ceiling is low.
So I like ducking.
But not that low. Just not as vast and as grand as the other rooms have been so far. Yeah, there's water in the bath.
I literally take a running jump at that bath.
Are you dressed?
Let me
Sorry,
finish.
go on.
I take a running jump at that bath, stripping off everything as I run. But as I reach the bath, it's like hands on either side and like swing myself over and just land in it.
There is a cascade of water that comes up, and you sink in, and you realise that this bath is not just a bath, but there is not just water. There is a foaming on the surface, and there is separation on the surface as well. And you breathe deep in those dragon nostrils, and you smell this enchanting incense of spices and oils that are evaporating.
Oh my god, I want to be in this bath. That sounds amazing.
I need a bath like this.
What you didn't do, because you didn't make any perception checks, is you didn't happen to notice that as you ran in stripping naked, you notice now because you feel two hands upon your shoulders. And they begin to rub.
No.
They begin to rub your dragon plates, and then you see from the right another character come along, in like a gossamer thin robe with a huge flagon of water, and is topping up your bath.
But I just emptied out.
Yeah, because you emptied it out, and they're topping it up. And then she proceeds to a corner and gains more of this oil. It's topping up your bath.
Don't like the idea of somebody. No.
Make a constitution check.
I love the confusion there.
Because I was trying to work out what skill you're trying to resist a massage.
10.
You don't resist the massage.
Shit,
you hold your little your spikes at the back of your head like tense immediately, and then try and resist, but then they droop, and you are subdued into this hyper relaxing bath that you were dunked in. Sariel, what would you like to do in your space? So you have this lovely appointed bed, the sink.
Have I got any, is there anything around the sink, like soaps, or I know there's fragrances, is there anything else that I could wash with around the sink?
There is pretty much anything you could dream of in this space to clean yourself. There is there's the basin, and then all around it there's toweling, there is little bottles and all kinds of things, beautifully wrought glass. There has been no expense spared here.
Okay, so I'm gonna, because my elven hair is all like in a big French flat, basically, all tied back up. So I'm going to, for dinner, I'm going to wear my hair down. So I'm gonna very carefully start to lay out. I'm gonna take off bits of my armor, and put my bag down and lay myself out on the bed like very precisely.
Yeah.
Have we got clothes yet?
There are no clothes as yet.
Okay. So I'm gonna untwist my French flaps out of my hair, and is there a tap or is the water?
It's just warm water in a basin. There's no plumbing to this space.
Okay. So I'm gonna go through the bottles and smell them.
Yeah.
And try some on my skin and trying to ascertain what would be best for me to clean my hair with.
Yeah, there is like a light soap. Most of the stuff in bottles is fragrances. There is one that smells like sort of cedar that you particularly reminds you of home, of Gargamel.
I will put some of that on in a minute. So I'll put that one to one side, sort of
Yeah.
keeping it to one side. And yeah, I'll untwist my flaps and then I'm going to lather up with the soap in my hand and then run it through my long elven hair.
Perfect. Okay.
And then, is there any sort of jug vessel I can
there is all the accoutrement for bathing oneself standing up at a basin here. There is.
Yeah, so I'm going to bathe my hair and wash my hair.
Yeah. The soap is delicate and fine bubbles and lathers up perfectly, and you are able to achieve a beautiful sheen in your hair, although it's damp. You too, as Jax did, sense that there is a warmer place in the room than the other bit of the room, so you think this is where there is some sort of chimney. Jax, there is a knock at your door.
I'll probably be like sort of done with hanging stuff out and things, and be like sort of oiling and treating all the weapons and did inside stuff on the bed.
Okay.
So there'll be a big array of weapons spread across the bed.
Yeah.
What?
Dinnerware?
Okay.
The door hesitantly cracks open, and a small person peeks through.
Hello?
Hello? Is it okay to come in?
Yeah? It's like your room, isn't it?
Not mine, no. And come on. And then there's a rail wheeled in, with clothes upon it.
Okay.
These are for you. Choose one and come to dinner for your dinner.
Okay, thanks. I'm gonna grab one in the middle.
Yeah.
Not really look at it. That one. And I'll throw it on the bed with the big pile of weapons.
They leave the rail and leave.
Okay.
Then Sarah, you hear the same sort of situation. Knock knock.
Hello?
Yes. Clothes.
Come in. I'm feeling much more regal and a lot calmer.
Yeah.
Now I have sort of washed. I've got a towel wrapped around me at the moment.
Yeah.
And I've got like wet, wavy hair at the moment.
Got rid of battle stank.
Yeah. There is no shame in this creature's manner.
Was it Tholf?
Huh? No, it wasn't Tholf.
Okay.
And this creature comes in and is just like, clothes, pick one, and come to, and just leaves just without any sort of real. It's just like they barely notice that you're there. Just like it's very functionary. They do this very functionary. Kills, you're down in the bath, and there is no knock. But there is a rail of clothes that appears beside you, and you have these two very, very slender, gossamer draped attendants, human attendants, that are attempting to bathe and cleanse you and cover you in various oils and polish your horns and all kinds of stuff. They've got wax specifically for dragon horns, make you look extra shiny.
You're having
What's the point of being a GM?
I just thought, like, so the way I imagine it is like Killian's just like laying like that.
Yeah.
His arms up on
Yeah.
his head. And I just like glance over and just start flicking through the clothes, just oh.
Yeah.
And then I sat
What does it look like? What's Phil's wearing for dinner?
Oh, it is like, it is something that he was used to wearing before he went to battle.
Before he was in the military, before he was
Yeah.
a soldier. Yeah.
And it is black, like coat with silver piping.
Like a dress coat kind of thing.
No, like a military coat. Do you know what I mean? Like
a trench, like a trench coat kind of thing, but
no, like you know, it's really hard to explain.
like a bit like a Gestapo coat, like a long Gestapo coat.
Yeah, it's like knee length,
Yeah.
and down the front of it, where the buttons are, and round the buttonholes, it's all silver piping, and then round the collar of it, and the cuffs, and then he's chosen some, and it's got like the jacket has got like a cut at the back, so it's almost like tailed, but not. But that cut is purely so that his tail can come through.
The clothes on the rail are specifically for Dragonborn.
Yes, I know, but that's what I'm saying. That you know that cut is specifically for his tail. It was there already. He didn't make it. It was there already.
Yeah.
But like the piping goes down the bottom of the jacket, along, like down the back of the jacket, along the bottom of it, and like all round it. Yeah. I'm gonna have to make it now. Oh my god.
Okay.
And then like just like plain black trousers, like almost like suit trousers.
Yeah, the ones you find, they are like suit trousers, but they're slightly pantalooned at the top, so they're slightly like breeched at the top, but then they come very tight round the ankle and the thigh.
Oh dear God in heaven, really, Killian's now? Yeah. Are they the only trousers that are?
No, there are loads of trousers. I just like the idea of Killian wearing like pantaloony toes, like just slightly, you know, like slightly ruffled. Like at the top, I just imagine him wearing slightly ruffled stuff.
You don't have to draw this feet, no.
The fashion student in my brain wants to shoot you right now. You have no idea how much you just hurt me.
Jackson picks an item of clothing that is perfectly fit.
Doesn't look at it in the slightest.
No, you just picked it, so I'm telling you what you picked. So you picked a thing that is it's like a jerkin that kind of fits over perfectly, like a leather jerkin, but it is finely sewn, and it's a dark green leather, so it looks very strange against your skin.
Oh, you're not wearing it.
Your skin tone. Oh, you just got holding it next to you, like.
And literally, I took it off the rack and threw it on the bed. I've not put it on.
Yeah, it's green leather jerkin with a dark brown trouser goes with it. There are some fine boots with it as well.
Okay, cool.
Boots are useful. Practical good boots.
And Sariel, what did you pick from the round?
Okay, now I've considered this. I have a beautiful gown, essentially, to fit with my regal nature. It's that a synthetic, or not? No, it's natural material, but it sort of shimmers, sort of elm tree green to gold.
Okay.
So it's like
it's got an iridescence to it.
Iridescence to it, yeah. And so it's slightly off the shoulder, but not completely. So sort of that like level, and it drops at the back.
Yeah.
And it's got a gold trim to it, And it's got wide sleeves at the bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
And which sort of tighter at the top and bell at the ends.
Yeah.
And it's got a slight train to it, but only slight. It's not like ridiculous.
Mhm.
It's a slight train to the back of it. And in the back of the dress, it's kind of embroidered.
Yeah.
Like very fine tree branches and leaves.
Yeah, like
But-
filigree. Like
Yeah,
filigree.
all down the back of the dress and down the train.
Lovely. This also comes with a sort of cowl that's very thin.
Mhm.
It sits over the shoulders and it has a hood, but it's completely see-through. But it again is that kind of the same green, but it's like a very fine, almost silk mesh. Not
Nice,
maybe not mesh. Like it's just like see-through.
Like a net.
It's opaque. It's
Yeah.
opaque material, but there's no, you can't see gaps in it. It is just an opaque material that kind of just sits and drapes over your shoulders. And this is just, it might be to keep the chill off, basically. This thing, but you can wear it with the hood up or down on this.
Do I have any accessories? Do I have a necklace or earrings? Or bracelet?
There is just the clothes at the moment. There's just the clothes. So it comes to a point where you are led. There was knocks at each of your doors, and you're led down, and you all haven't seen Charlie yet.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm looking forward to seeing Charlie. Bean, you're disappearing off the screen. We've got like half your head.
I'm in pain, so I'm trying to make myself comfortable. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Charlie is wearing some sort of solid leathered breastplate type thing that has like leather strapping around the center that is trying to hold in his rather pronounced gut area. There is like leather strapping that ties up at the side, and he's wearing Killian's trousers, the pantaloons with the tight bits around the ankles, and then like the bird feet on the bottom, and the wings are. It's like a push-up bra, but for Aarakocra. So it's like it's pushed his wings up and out, so his wings are like really up. He doesn't look particularly comfortable, but Charles thinks he looks awesome in this outfit. And you are quarterly led to dinner. This is a second.
And Jax is in his normal sort of hard-working leather trousers, sort of studded leather breastplate. He's got a couple of hand axes on his belt and a warhammer, a maul.
Yeah,
Didn't you put the boots on?
No, I didn't look at the outfit at all.
You are led in to the space, and there is kind of like a look at you at the door, Jax, at the hammer.
Okay, I'm not gonna.
Tholth says, "We have a space for those." No, it's wrong voices. We've got a space for those.
I'll just like lean it up against my chair or whatever. Fine.
We'd rather you don't.
Jackson, I think it would be polite if you leave your weapons at the door. I don't think this is the sort of place to be leaving weapons. I know Killian is disagreeing with me on this one. But I think it'd be best if we leave our weapons at the door.
I'll kind of prop it up against the wall next to the door.
I actually have hidden within my dress a blade, like it's basically down my chest.
Yeah.
So that it can't be seen.
Make a
I'll just lean it by the door.
Yeah, he says, good, that's the place. And make a sleight of hand, Sariel, to see how well you've hidden this dagger. And are you secreting any weapons upon you?
Of course I am. It's Killian.
Sleight of hands, Killian, then please. In your new.
Are they particularly worried about the hand axes on his belt?
Oh, you got them on your belt. Yeah, they're worried about those. If they're blatantly on show, yes, they're worried. They're asking you to de-arm, basically.
Boring old salts, isn't they?
19.
you've secreted. What is it you secreted in this place?
It's.
I don't mean secreted, I mean.
I think I've got. I'm just double checking the equipment because I just don't want to mix it up with the other character.
Out of interest, did that like sort of clean up count as a short rest by any chance?
It would have counted as a short rest, and actually kills. Yours is a long rest because you have been so treated and massaged, and you hide all of the weapons that you have ever owned upon your body inside your. You did take the pantaloons, and they're inside the pantaloons.
No, I didn't take the pantaloons. I'm not wearing. My character is not.
It's the ice knife. I've got the ice knife on me.
Okay. No, that's a spell, isn't it?
Oh. It's a spell, sorry. I've got a small. I'm sure there's a small dagger. I can't find it.
Charlie tries to hide something on him.
I'm just gonna sort of flick the. Is there sort of a wooden mantle or something?
There is the door that you are going through. There is some bits and pieces either side. Yeah.
Well, it's sort of, basically a wooden shelf. It's basically something you can kind of chunk in an axe into to sort of.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. There's like little things around, so you're gonna chunk your axes into them.
Yeah.
Tholth says, "Very good." He does not seem phased. You think he might make an insight check.
Insight, you say?
Yeah.
14.
You think he? This is not abnormal kind of behavior. He doesn't. This kind of expressions of, because you're not even doing it angrily, are you? You're just doing it.
Yeah.
It's just how he behaves. Jax behaves. He seems accustomed to orcish custom.
Can I have a sort of, is it a nature to see if I can work out what race he is?
Yes, of course.
No idea. 7.
Was it a math special?
It was a 5 and then added 2.
Charlie attempts to hide his dagger upon him. Well, Charlie probably didn't actually try. He just had it in like a pocket and was probably tossing it in his hands or something. And they say, "Please, my Aracroca friend, would you put this down?" And there's like the shelf that the axes are in. Charles puts the knife on the top.
Okay, so I don't have a dagger, and my scimitar's going to be too big to hide under my dress, I think.
You got a pretty good roll. If you can tell me how it's incorporated into this outfit. Like you're walking really funny because it's strapped to one of your legs.
Well, so my scimitar is not quite flat. It's slightly curved.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
So actually, I've got it sort of resting. Essentially, it's underneath my chest, sort of strapped down one side. Okay. So the handle is sort of running down the top of my leg.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
So it's sort of curved around my side. So
to get this out, are you going to be literally going like and rummaging under your dress to get this?
I'm going to have to rummage under my dress, more likely, because I've got a slightly dropped shoulder and a back. I'm going to essentially do that and pull it out.
Or she could be like badass, like Angelina Jolie style thing, where she's got a slight slit in her dress and she literally just tears it open and takes it out. Like, come at me.
I like that idea. I'm going to do that if I need to.
You've actually.
You've got to worry that you picked the train and Jax has big feet.
You've actually picked the seams in this area specifically to make blade removal optimal at this point. You think you have the way to remove this stuff?
Why are you bothering? You turn into a panther.
Yeah, true. You are led into this room, and you are offered places, and eventually the prince arrives, and the food starts coming. And it's a first course, and this is some sort of.
May I ask DM have I got time to tell them about the Melora's Eye before we start being served?
Yeah, you can possibly start talking about it. Go for it.
Yeah. So I let Killian and Jackson know that when we were being led down to our separate rooms, I noticed these triangular flags outside, and I know these are connected to the Festival of Melora's Eye, which is a solar eclipse that happens every year. But I know this year is particularly significant solar eclipse, as the celestial eclipse is going to be in the center of the sun. So do I know whether the what date it is essentially? Do I know whether the festival actually happened?
You don't. Yet? But at this, Charlie says, "Of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping track of it. Of course I do. I know exactly that it's Melora. I am a cleric of Melora."
Mm-hmm.
Did you forget?
Charlie, what date is it? I've lost track of the days. Do you know what date it is?
It'll be this evening. That'll be the eclipse this evening.
An eclipse at sunset, you think?
Yes. Well, the sun doesn't set on Earl, does it?
Oh yeah, it doesn't. Does it even go down?
It does go down, yes.
Well, there's two down. There are two suns.
Sorry?
Aren't there two suns?
No, not two suns. One sun that doesn't drop ever fully. It kind of where you are to the south, it lowers down. If you were in the more you move north, the longer the day, the less set it becomes. It's not completely geosynchronous like the Earth is, like the Moon is to us on Earth. So it does move slightly, and there is variation in it. Hence, you get this different types of Melora's Eye.
Well, it has a wobble.
Yeah. It has a wobble. Yeah. You know, you know that Charlie is well versed in this festival.
Okay, so you think?
What do you do at this festival?
There's great celebration, and different places have their own little festivities that they hold. There was a rather large crowd, don't you think, for just a day of that's probably why there's so many people cheering and everything. Maybe they thought we were part of this show.
Okay.
I can't hear you, darling.
Does Killian know? Does Killian know? Would Killian have been here? Would Killian have been to South Gate before? I don't know. We're on history. You're quite a well-travelled dragon, Fawn. Excuse me.
No, Killian does not.
Killian doesn't know a thing. Killian rolled a 5 and plus
1.
Plus 1, isn't that? Yeah, so you got 6. You
Definitely.
Out of interest, does Jack think of it as the Festival of Grimmashi?
Do you? You tell me.
Well,
why would you think that?
Because he's from an orc tribe and follows Grummash, whose symbol is an eye.
Yeah, but
so an eye would be a sort of, I can see that would be a symbol of sort of Grummash strength of
Oh, I like that idea. I like that very, very much. So,
it's probably more festival of strength than sort of, beating the shit out of each other and seeing who's the champion at the end of it.
you might think that is, if you only knew how fitting that was. Yeah, I like that idea. That, but are you keeping quiet about it?
Well,
have you remembered? Let's see if you've remembered, maybe. So let's check your history to see if you remembered about the date of it, kind of thing. So, like, if you make the connection between the two.
To be honest, I don't know the date. I think it was more the eclipse thing turns up, and that's how the orcs see it. That's gonna be pitiful. I rolled a 7, so it's 7.
Okay, so you don't know that it's the date, but I think if Jack saw this happening, if Jack saw the eclipse, he would go, "Oh yeah, Grimush," kind of like, yeah, like not like, he wouldn't be going, "Oh, it's Melora's eye." He'd be like, "Oh, it's Grimush." Yeah. He'd definitely be like, yeah, if he sees it, like, yeah, he'll be like, "Oh, it's Grimush," and then start trying to punch the nearest person or something. Like,
just start trying to beat the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, please let him and Killian have a little
Oh,
battle.
that'd be so funny.
Oh, yeah.
You were sat down to tea, to dinner. The evening is
it just with the prince, or is there like other guests as well?
There seems to be you. There is the very poignant Thulf is flitting in and out, and there are trays being led in by various servants, and then there is a particularly large tray, like with one of those things on the top. I forgot what they're called, and it is led in by a rather plump, round, well-shaven female dwarf.
Okay.
Why is she shaving?
Huh?
Why is she shaving?
Because she hasn't got any. She's not got any of the dwarven facial hair that is often accompanied to both the male and female of dwarves. Not always, but you can definitely tell that this one has been. She shaves.
Mm.
Probably don't want to get hair in the food.
It's probably she's quite concerned about the hygiene issue. Yeah.
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 Oh, would be too. I'm sick of getting dog hair in my food. So beard hair must be a nightmare.
She leads it in, and she beams at all of you guys. Like so happy, like really, really, really pleased. And there are plates laden, and she's basically like she's like a conductor at this point of food delivery onto the table and to your plates, and there is like china and all this kind of stuff being led in this, and she is basically the master of this operation, and it is a symphony of food being produced for you guys.
I'm getting distinct feeling. Maybe I've read too many mythology books. I'm getting distinct feeling we're getting like primed to be sacrifices. Yeah. just you know.
So she beams at you guys, and there's this huge one that is lifted onto the table with great difficulty, and then the lid is somehow removed, and there is a beautifully prepared owlbear.
Yeah, got your last supper.
What sort have we got? Like sort of cutlery of some description.
There is cutlery.
Cool. I'll lean over and sort of honk off a drumstick.
yeah, you get there's like a forearm you could get there, and there is a good bit of haunch. You can get some decent
I can
haunch.
just imagine the three of us at a civilized dinner, and there's Killian and Jack just like
yeah
they're sitting there like
Sarah,
yeah, Sarah is sitting there like
It's
trying to ignore the fact you're going.
It's definitely finger food, yeah.
I imagine you
and sort of the soup is
that scene in Hook
with the kids.
with the Lost Boys in Hook, where they're just like, and they're just like everything. And
Oh,
yeah, it's like that, but we're in a snow castle.
And then there's Charlie. It's just kind of like
Charlie's not. He's quite couth when it comes to the dinner table, but he's
Oh
bumbling,
damn! I was really expecting him to be like.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
hecking like a pigeon. No. Charlie is got like. Imagine if a pigeon could actually use condiments. So it's like it's that kind of amount of kind of like picking up the thing and then like great, not quite enough, great, and then like getting the next thing, sprinkle, stop, and then moving something, turning it over, sprinkling the other side, like making sure that everything has the correct amount of seasoning, like perfectly, even though the seasoning's done quite excellently already, but Charlie's
Looking
specification.
daggers at you, isn't she?
I'm gonna make a perception check to see if Charlie notices the daggers being thrown. Charlie turns and goes, stops putting condiments on his food.
It always winds me up. You cook a meal, and the first thing people do is add stuff to it. It's like try it and then go. It needs salt or pepper or
pepper's my thing. I love
just
pepper.
just no.
When
It just gets me every time.
Not
I'm
if
like,
it's a curry. There's certain things that I will always add pepper to, like chips. Like chips.
even though I've added pepper to the thing that I've made for dinner, it's always, babe, can you get me the pepper? I'm like, there's already pepper in it. Yeah, but I'm like,
so
drives me insane.
you
Anyway, back to banquet.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn to Tustin, though, dude. So Tustin, so do you know why this more cult people want to destroy your bridge?
more cult.
Yeah, like Cult of the Moor. They like seem to like feeding stuff into fires and seas and things, and there's a blinky mirror. Have you got one of the symbols? Because I gave mine to the dragon, so I don't have one.
Who's got a symbol? Who's got a symbol?
Everyone had one. It's whether or not they brought one.
Killian, get one.
If not, I'm gonna like sort of draw it on the tablecloth out of like.
No, don't draw it. I've had enough of.
I love the fact that there's now gravy more. Just like dribbled gravy more.
No, I'll like dip my finger in and like drawn it out on the table.
And at this point, I was like, no, I have one.
no, the thing is, like, you're getting completely ignored, and I'm across from Jackson going, wait a minute, no, that bit's wrong. And I'm like, putting my finger in the gravy and drawing it the right
But
way.
you get the mint.
Ariel's like this, no!
Yeah,
I get the mint sauce. I'm like, wait, nah.
And you colour in the darker bit with the blacker mint sauce. It's a very, very black mint, and you coloured in the inside. And
this symbol. People that are trying to break your.
I say I'm terribly sorry. I'm so sorry. My companions just don't know how to behave. I apologise profusely. We'll clean it up, of course, and I'm super embarrassed by them both, and they are completely oblivious to the fact that I am mortified.
Nah, I'm not. I reach over to go high five Jackson. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, so like the weird people that were doing that are like part of this cult that like worship that or feed that or something, and they were trying to break your bridge. They came up from near Esteland.
I have seen this symbol in my readings. Yes, I recognise it. It's an old symbol.
Just from your readings?
Well, yes, I've got lots of books. I read often. Lots of different symbols, lots of different things, and this one I recognise.
From what book?
I can show you. Would you like to see?
Yeah, but can we finish eating first?
Oh, of course. There is like, you might be interested to have a look around the library.
It would be useful to get some more information about this cult.
But
But
I know
they
nothing of the cult. I know what the symbol is. I know what it represents.
It's like the moor, the big place over the other side in the dark, where the big rock
Indeed.
is.
Yes, it's often the far side of Earl is often called, well, the centre is often called the moor, the all-consuming.
Do you know the big rock that hit was pink? Like what you've got up at Shardfall.
Yes, now that is fascinating of a place, Shardfall. Beautiful, but strange.
Have you tried licking it?
One does not lick things.
I recommend looking at.
Killian's like, I do. I lick everything.
He looks to you and kind of cocks his head and looks just confused as to Killian's.
Especially with licking stuff.
We've got a bit of it if you want to try.
Sorry?
Like your pink rock stuff.
You're the pink rock. Oh, you have some?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we took it off the wacky cult priest in Estelan. He was like growing them
Got
all.
a bit of
Yeah.
rotting tentacle attached to it as well.
Fascinating. I'm not sure that's something we need to do over dinner, but maybe when your dragonborn friend comes to the library to look if it's in their possession, I'd very much like to take a look.
So if you're like prince person of Mordensoul,
Constant
how come
Frederick.
to have like a castle here? Because this is like, what's the country called here?
It's Gregdon is the.
Yeah, this is like Gregdon, isn't it?
This is Gregdon, yes, and I am Prince. I'm Prince Regent, as I mentioned before. My father is king, and he is
Okay,
the
but
capital.
like, isn't that like another country?
He is on Mordens. He is on Mordensoul. He is at Mordensoul on Frohast. The way that the boundaries lie is that this is still counted as actually Frohast.
Okay. So do you have any jurisdiction down at Estelan?
I'm afraid that is not of my my remit. Why?
At this point, I ask.
We do have powers, but they are not necessarily ones that have direct relation to law or law making, but we can influence stuff being princely and kingly and of a royal house.
Well, like they're the ones that took the brunt of this attack. They're the ones that sent help, and like raised the force that like defeated this army that was going to knock over your bridge.
Really? Well, they need commendations then, don't they? As do you. What did you suggest?
I don't know, like sort of some troops, some help rebuilding, that sort of stuff. I don't know.
Town rebuilding it took a onslaught of a big attack prior to.
Do you think there might be someone that would
They need a new priest that's like not a weird cult person that grows tentacles. That would probably do.
Oh dear. Well, we could certainly send someone. What was the church? Which god was the church dedicated to? Charlie pipes up. Milora was the god worshipped at that temple. I know, and he tries to go into a thing. In the prince raises his hand and says, I'm much aware of the deities and the pantheon, my cleric friend, um, uh, and we could send a priest, quite possibly. Do you think my now tell me, are you half orc, quarter orc? I don't really want to be rude.
Yes.
Yeah. Half orc, quarter orc.
I have a parent of each. What's that make me?
That's called half. Yes. Um, um,
I love that. Yes.
so they says, do you think there might be someone from Estland who could maybe represent, who would know what is in the best interest of the town?
There's a couple. There's like the woman that runs the pub, and there's the woman that runs the apothecary, and there's the dockmaster. They're all quite useful. The foreman was a bit fucked up when we left. He was recovering. He almost died.
Okay. And they were all local people that knew the place well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would the woman that ran the inn.
Right. Yeah.
Is that one of the people that you mentioned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say she is definitely a people person,
Mm-hmm.
like for the people.
She would be the best representative, I think. I
Yeah,
agree with
that's
William.
what I'm thinking she would probably be the best one to talk to
Okay.
at this moment in time.
Okay. The prince is nodding, listening very intently to everything you're saying. And at this point, the dwarf lady comes back in, and provides you with fresh plates and things. And there's a kind of not a change of the food on the table, but just like that. This is such a posh place. You can have a change of cutlery and plates in between food.
Mm-hmm.
Make a perception check.
Everybody?
Yeah, we'll do a group one. Yeah.
No.
I don't like it when he makes that
Okay.
sound.
Well, I'll come out of mine. Hang on a second.
I rolled a 5.
Can't see what that says.
It's the 13.
13, there you go. So 14.
Okay.
18.
Half of you passed with Charlie helping.
Oops.
Charlie and Sariel noticed that the prince's plate has very little on it, and what has been put on it has barely been touched. And it's
She's
carried
not
away.
eating.
It's carried away, and another plate's put down by this dwarf person, and it's there is maybe a disdainful look, you might Sariel, you might call it, from her as she places this down. But then as she comes back round to the rest of you, beaming, like so happy to be giving you these plates.
So who did she pick? Him.
But you didn't see that. Sariel sees it.
Oh yeah, because I failed my test.
So she doesn't like the prince. But she likes all of us. Okay.
You get that something is pleasing about your presence and isn't pleasing about
His present.
You're enjoying the food.
The meal carries on into the evening, and there is small talk and chatting, and there is the invite to the library, and there is more talk of sort of what we would do with Estland, what are the best things to do, how maybe to protect the bridge in future, and So you know the town of Southgate because you've been through it, because you've been to Mordenstown to do work for the king. So you're quite well versed in it, and there's talk of things that have changed in the town. And
are we going to this party? Haven't you got like a party on tonight?
yes,
Do you like go to this thing, or do you just stay up here in the castle?
I will watch from the observatory.
Observatory, maybe we have a look round.
You could just come in, like, sort of have a beer with everyone else.
One does not have beers with everyone else.
He's a prince, Jackson. He doesn't mix with the rest of the people.
Well, that's just stupid. How do they know who's in charge?
They can see him in the top of the tower.
I do.
You do what?
She said he's a prince. He doesn't mix with everyone. And I was like, wait, I do.
You're a prince.
Yes.
But you're different. A different type of prince.
Hey!
But we can go down to town and have a beer. And,
Right, in a good
join
way.
the party, and like all your like sort of villagers or whatever, I can like see what a good guy you are.
Have a look around the observatory, if I may. Would you mind if you give us a tour?
He says to Jackson, "How quaint," and then doesn't say anything more to that. What a quaint notion, my dear elven lady. Of course, I would gladly give you a tour around. Would you like to watch the celestial event from there?
Yes, please.
You are more than welcome, my orc friend and my dragonborn friend and my Aarakocra friend, to please enjoy the festivities. I'm sure you will be in everyone's best of books as you proceed
I
down.
really like you're going to be so
Challenge you if they think you're doing a shit job.
Sorry, say again? Missed it.
How do they challenge you if they think you're doing a shit job?
Could they challenge me?
Yeah. Well, if you don't like sort of know the people and like sort of show them what you do for them and stuff, like how do they like challenge you for like leadership?
It doesn't work like that here.
Is a have you heard of the term monarchy?
I think my way's better.
Sorry, Mr. Jackson.
I think my way's better. It's like, you know, if you just get your job because your dad had the job, you could be shit at it. Whereas, you know, if the strongest like turns up and like is in charge, then the strongest is always in charge. And when he's not the strongest, they take over.
I just kind of lean
And make
over
an
to-
insight check.
And that one.
Yeah, you can't gauge his reaction at all.
I just lean over to Jack.
You actually possibly think he's agreeing with you.
It's a much better system, like, because then you always have the biggest boss in charge.
I just lean over to Jack, and I just go, "Are you seriously challenging him right now?"
No, I
I,
don't like sort of.
I've often heard of these novel ways of orcish government. However, currently that is not the system in place in Frohast. I believe maybe on Tish, places in Tish, they have similar things where there are sort of battles to become the best of the best, as you say, and stand upon the body of one's foes and prove that you can smash heads. And I see merit in that for those kind of climates. But here we operate differently.
Okay, Jax is just going to look confused and sort of, you know, yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
He says,
All right, sounds shit.
he he does that whistle again, and again Thulf is there. He says, "The gold." And they each of you are presented with in front of you a sack with 50 gold in it, gold pieces. That's, he says, spending money.
Our return journey?
No, for this evening festivities.
Why?
Ah,
Why? You are my guests. I wish you to be. You saved the bridge. You saved the bridge. It is our connection to our motherland. It is. It is the. It is the. It is the connection to the frozen.
Okay, so are we going to join the party and you're going to go in some room?
Yeah.
Sariel. Okay.
Killian's gonna get pissed with Jackson.
He says, if you're going, then Killian, maybe we should have our little library meeting in. He goes to say morning, but then realizes the implications of giving 50 gold to a dragonborn to go out drinking with, and redacts that in his head and goes late afternoon. without being like, you could just glimpse that princely pause.
At which point I just kind of look at him and go, probably gonna be best like evening time.
Evening, very well, Killian. It has
I'll
been a
need some
pleasure
food
dining
in
with
me
you.
first.
And he folds the knife and fork on the plate. He actually crosses it on the plate, and again there are a few like a bit of radish that's had a slice out of it, and like a couple of leaves that have been nibbled, and yeah, like
he's not eating.
that's very very little on the cake.
Before we move on to the next section, can I make a suggestion that we have a quick 5-minute break?
It would be lovely to have a break. Yeah, cool.
Sure.
Going back in. So yeah, you are gathered around the table. Killian and Jax, you are going the way down.
Is there like a guard or something on the way out?
Yeah, there's guards posted throughout the space.
Like on the door before I go and pick up my weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
So where's good for a beer in this town? I'm just going to wander up to one of the guards.
He is quite stoic at this point, so he doesn't reply straight away.
Come on, you've got to know a good place for a beer. Like you're a soldier, you're a fighter type. You know what's a good place for a beer.
Persuasion.
I rolled a 17, so 16.
He kind of glances out the corner of his eye, and you think that his remit is to stand quite stoic and not move, but he goes, and all of a sudden that pose breaks, and he goes, if you really want to get a good, or is it beer or is it spirits you're into?
I don't know what's good in this place. I've never been here before.
He said, go to Gateshead.
Gateshead, okay. I'll tip him. I'll give him one of my gold out of my bag that the prince just gave.
He looks at that, and that he pockets it, and he's like, "I'm back to stoic." Like,
Is there any food left on the table?
as you're leaving, oh yeah, there's like your guts are so full, but the table is seemingly massively piled.
Okay. Are there any people like around the room that have been serving us and things like that?
At this point, as you're leaving, the prince is left through another door at the back of it.
Have
And
I gone with the prince?
huh?
Have I gone with the prince?
Thulf is with you right now.
Okay.
But you, at this point, the dwarven lady comes in again with a selection of staff and starts gathering things.
Okay, I go over to her and I say, by the way, food was amazing. Any chance I could have a plate of food in my room for when we get back? Trust me, I'm going to need to do.
My dear, of course you can. What would you like?
Sweet things in particular.
Sweet things. I could do you up some little coffee rolls with a blancmange.
Yes.
With cream.
And meat.
Sweet meat. What about sweet meats? Livers. Awful easy.
Jax, want anything?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You sure?
Yeah.
Not gonna need it.
She says. She says, he'll be there waiting for you back. Something nice in the morning if you want to. Oh, it's such a pleasure to cook for someone who actually flipping eats it.
I say thanks and give her like a bone crushing hug, like lift her off the ground, kind of.
You try.
Oh.
Why can't I do it?
You try to crush her.
I don't try and crush her. I just give her a big hug.
As you try to give her this squeeze, there is no give in this body at all. This is one hench. The ruffled clothes and the sort of dumpiness that that her garment gives her, there is nothing under there that isn't solid muscle.
Awesome.
He is well built. You are led, Sariel, out of the same door that you went up before, and you are led to this space that Killian saw. This sort of strange room that was like a. It's down a floor, 2 floors, one floor down. Sorry, and you are. I'm trying to remember the map in my head, and you were led to this sort of triangular shape that comes to a point, and then there's a door at the end, and then the door is opened, and it is a bridge outside, and Thulf is walking along in front of you, and you're trailing behind. Thulf is silent as you are being led this way, and the bridge is outside. You are led now outside, and you see the 2 towers. This bridge travels in between the 2 towers of Southgate. And as you look up to the tower that you're being led towards, you can see atop the other tower some sort of contraption, some sort of thing that you might think might be what is he referred to as the observatory.
Okay.
You're led through, and then again there are stairs that you must ascend. Make a perception check.
Well.
As you enter this space, you've been out in the cold again, exposed to the kind of the southerly winds that blow up across the bridge, and that freshness has sort of cleared your sinuses after having such a big, heavy, rich meal. When you move into this space, there are no longer the smells of cookings, but there's a distinct smell in the air, but you can't place it.
Right, is it a sweet smell? Is it a bitter smell?
You can't really figure out what this is at
Right.
all. So it's a smell. It's not the smell of stone and rock. It's something. Something is there. Killy and Jackson, tell me about your pub crawl. What are you doing?
So, well, I want to see what this party's about anyway. I really do want to get Charlie absolutely shit-faced. Like, I will be buying him shots like in every pub we go to.
You'll be buying him shots. I'll be buying him, like, what are they called? Is it fish bowls?
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's literally a fish bowl
Yeah.
that's filled with God knows. Yeah, I'll be buying him them. Jax will be getting the shots in. We are gonna get Charlie shit faced.
Okay. So you proceed down, and when you reach the ground level of Southgate, Southgate is kind of constructed of the two towers that sit out on the ice. Then there is a large defensive wall that runs around on the almost onto the Gregdon itself, really, and then outside of where there's a where the trade routes come through in this kind of like a pen that comes around the outside that joins to the two towers. Then outside that is Southgate proper. That's where things are happening. So you're actually going outside these defensive walls. You're led through, but as you travel, there is this kind of jovial spirit in the air, and there are people that recognise you, and they are cheering you and patting you on the back and walking along. And Charlie has somehow got one of these flags on a stick, and Charlie's like, "Hey, where my Laura's eyes?" He's very happy about this flag on a stick. And you are led through to the township outside the walls of Southgate. Are you heading straight for your pub, or are you going to try and find some other ones? What are you going to do?
Are there like stalls and things set up selling like flags and
Yes,
random?
there is a plethora of stalls. There are lots of people in the streets. Have we established if you've been to Southgate before? No, we haven't, have we?
No.
So there are a lot of stalls. There are a lot of colourful things. All these multicoloured, again, like traders with different spices, different
I want to get Charlie
foods roasting.
I want to get Charlie something really special. Like, on St. Paddy's Day, in some pubs, it's like if you drink so many pints of Guinness, you get one of the big green Guinness hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get Charlie like a big, extravagant, over-the-top, flashing hat.
Make a perception check to see if you can, or an investigation check.
Like
perception or investigation, whichever you've got the higher plus on, I'll let you have a look around.
I mean, what are the? I mean, is it just a piss up, or I mean, what is the general festivity going on?
So there is like these stalls everywhere, as you're kind of led out. You see that the action is kind of being drawn to the east, obviously, of the town. So kind of that bit where the ice bridge hits Gregdon proper.
Well, it's a 20. I got a 19.
Okay. So you see a stall, and what it is selling is, it's like when you kind of combine a plushie and a hat.
Oh my god, yes. That's what we need.
It's
Charlie.
like a plushie and a hat, but the plushie is just a great circular eyeball, basically, with a dot in the center of it.
Yeah, I'm down with that for Charlie. And convert it to a proper religion.
So you go to the stall, and they say, you want to purchase one of these things.
Yeah.
He says, this one. He says, gold piece.
I hand him a gold piece.
He hands you a giant hat.
And I turn around and go, do you know where we can get any glow sticks?
Glowing sticks. You'd need a druid for that.
Right, okay. Is there anything like lights or ever glowing candles or anything like that that I can get for my feathered friend here? But I don't let Charlie hear this.
He says there's a lady and she can do a thing called dancing lights.
Is that what we need?
You get like 4 little coloured globules that float around. Can you not cast that?
No. Not one of my things. It's too soft in there for Killian.
I think it's within your remit. I think
It's a sorcerer's spell.
Yeah, but it's too soft and there for Killian.
Yeah, there is a spell. So there is he gestures to this woman who's got some potions and stuff.
Okay. I hint to Jax that that's where I want to head, to this woman.
Yeah, fine. You know, I'll have a starting.
Like people are like hugging him, and if people at this time could be taking selfies, they'd be taking selfies with him. It's that kind of situation. But they like he's just well into it, and there's this woman. He says,
That's Lindsay coming. Hold on a second.
you have this discussion and say like, that guy says you can do this thing, and she says,
All right. See my feathered friend.
yeah.
Him.
She says,
Your face, Lou.
she says 5. 5.
Oh God.
5.
Lou, what's happened?
Cat's been sick on me and then on the floor.
Oh,
Oh
great.
no.
Just bear with me a minute.
There's
So I hand her 5 gold pieces.
she says 5 times 5.
5 times 5, 25.
Yeah.
25 gold pieces for this.
It was free shit the Prince guy gave us. Who cares?
Yeah, true. I give her 25 pieces.
She nods happily, and she was that a scroll? Read the thing off the scroll. The scroll vanishes. She says,
Everywhere.
there's 4 lights. Where do you want them on him?
Oh, buzzing around his head. I want them to, like, when he's drunk later, that's all he's going to see is these lights just whizzing past his eyes.
She goes. So she kind of she focuses at her energies, and on the kind of points of Charlie's head, like 1, 2, 3, 4, orbs appear and glow round Charlie's head, and he's like, "Oh, no, what marvels!" He's so happy about this situation. Okay.
Did say we were going. We're gonna.
Have you given him the hat yet?
Oh no! At this point, I'll say thank you, and I'll run over to Charlie and kind of just ram the hat on his head, but make sure that the orbs are like come away.
The orbs actually then sort of adjust themselves, so they orbit this giant eye that is on Charlie's head. So there's like a pigeon with an eyeball on top of his head that has like orbiting like glowing orbs. He is looking boss basically at this point. Charlie is ecstatic.
You know, I'm gonna make you an eyeball hat
For the next game.
I love that. That's the Christmas special. Me dressed as an Eye of Melora.
A flashing eyeball hat.
Yeah, I love it.
So like we'll wander through. You know, I'll be buying beers every so often and shots for Charlie every opportunity I can.
Yeah.
Tell me how much gold I'm just gonna spend some.
You're probably going to rinse your entire gold. There is big spending to be had, and it kind of with the 50 that you got given. I mean, so not like
Okay, that's fine. And like when it becomes obvious that like this isn't like the stupid festival of Melora's Eye. This is like sort of Grimish's Black Eye Night. You know, that's what it's about.
Yeah, but there is a point where you are all led that way, and the drinks are going down well, and there is drumming in the streets, and there is music, and there is a large stage set up along one of the routes that reaches. Basically, it's on the left of a cliff. There's a cliff that just drops down like that, and like a path that leads to it. To the north, if you were moving, there's a large stage. There is a band playing, and you can see the great orb of the sun dropping down.
I'll go grab one of the like sort of party people. You're like, so where are the competitions and stuff?
Okay, you don't realize just yet because you haven't seen what's happening. So the sun's coming down, and sort of glowing above the horizon, and then there's a kind of hushed silence that comes over the crowd, and the band stops, and just at the corner of the orb of the sun is this black dot, and it travels across, and there is all different light that comes off and reflects, and as it reaches the center, it turns this kind of blue, purple, red that fades out from the outside into this kind of strange thing. And it's at this point you realize it's Grimish's eye.
Grimish's Black Eye. That's what this is all about.
And Charlie says, "Yeah, this is Melora's eye. Melora, storms and stuff, and rain and snow and all the wet things."
And like Grimish and strength and like orcs and all of that stuff. He only has one of them.
Charles.
Doesn't Melora have two?
There is
more like one eye than two.
Charlie has a sort of moment of revelation in this inebriated state. He's like, what if they're the same thing?
No, you can't have one eye and two eyes.
No, the one eye is the same thing that we all look towards. A unifying singular deity that really governs all of this world. Like if someone was in control of everything that we do.
I'm gonna pass him a beer.
Yeah, I was just like looking around to see if I could see anyone.
He can have my one. Just
He starts drinking. He's like, do you ever think that there might be someone watching?
On a completely different note.
Yes.
Does anyone think that Sariel's going to be knocking boots with Princey guy?
Killing.
It could just be that was getting that vibe.
Charlie just says, "I've never seen her dance."
You've never seen her what?
For some reason, that makes him emotional. He starts crying.
Can't.
Charles is crying. Like, "Oh no, she's never danced. Never danced." And then someone says, as he says, "Never danced." Someone grabs him and begins dancing with him and spins him off. And then he's like switched his mode completely. He's like so happy. Like he's like. His beer is everywhere over his head. He's still got the eyeball on the top of his head with the orbiting lights around it. He's like a veritable solar system, like in the middle of this thing. People are dancing round him.
So now I've worked out what it is. I'm going to grab someone in passing and be like, "So where are like the competitions and stuff?"
They look at you a little bit dumbstruck and inebriated.
You don't have competitions for Grimish Night.
We call it Melora's Eye.
Don't you have competitions for that?
There is a big competition.
Well, where's that?
Miles from here. But I mean, we could probably, make a persuasion.
I rolled a 15, so Oh, hang on. No, that's not right. I was like, what? +3? No, that's not right.
-1.
Yeah, 14.
He goes, come find me later.
Okay.
I'll be near the side. I'll be all. Oh no, I'm near the right side of the stage.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, what is happening?
And what are you doing, Kills? Charlie's dancing like an orbit. Jackson's swilling pints. The sun's just turned purple.
I've got a pint in my hand, and as like Charlie turns around, and he just catches me, and I just go, like, you know what I mean? He catches my eye and just raises, and I'm just like, yeah,
he
this
nods.
is what we wanted.
There is a bevy of bards on the stage. They are fiddling. They are playing squeeze boxes. There is all kinds of different instruments being performed into some sort of glorious tune, and it's raising the spirits. Everyone is kind of getting to that point of the night where everyone is kind of just all in time to that beat.
I want to get on the stage. Is there someone with drums?
Yeah, there's a drummer.
Yeah.
Jack is proficient with drums.
Jax, make me a performance check with these drums then.
Yes, Jack.
$17.
Yes. Is that with you? Was it with your proficiency mod?
That's with my, yeah, I rolled a 16, which is normally -1, but proficiency is +2.
Okay, cool. So you get on the stage and you basically become like you're like Bez but with a drum. You are dancing round. It's one that you can strap to you, and it's one that you can sort of play. But it's not the sideways one, it's that way. So you're like, and there's like this kind of strange rhythm that the rest of the guys like. The music kind of trails off for a minute because they don't understand.
It's going to be a very tribal beat.
Orcish rhythm as opposed to the kind of folky, like quite skippy-ish type stuff that was playing before. But then they feel this groove and they are like into it, and they start like there's like a jam going on this stage. There are like strange things there. There's notes that they're not even sure that they knew how to play before being played, and chords that they're not sure should ever be combined together. But it is like jazz tribal fusion happening upon this stage.
That is what I need. I need to hear jazz, tribal jazz.
Tribal jazz
that
fusion.
Needs to be a thing.
Well, that's what Jax is playing right now, so that's what's happening.
Jax, you need to bring out an album, mate.
It's happening, and there is this synchronous high energy happening around all of you.
And I'm stood in the crowd. I've got I'm watching Jax, and then there's Charlie there.
Yeah.
Like Jax and Charlie, and I'm just looking at Jax. He's like banging away on this drum.
Yeah.
I'm just tapping my foot in time, and then I look round at
Tribal
Charlie.
jazz. It's a thing.
Amazing. Tribal jazz is a thing.
Yeah, and you look round at Charlie.
I look round at Charlie and just watch these colourful orbs going round him as he's spinning and dancing away and going nuts with this giant eyeball hat, half a drink in his hand because he spilt the rest of it. And I'm just like, yeah, this is cool. I'm just like happy, content, happy for the first time in a long time. With
I'm pissed.
Considering I don't enjoy people.
Make a perception check.
Sorry, the cat was sick 4 times in the space of 15 minutes.
That's disgusting.
In different rooms.
Sorry. Bucket of booze for Charlie. Charlie's second drink.
Yes. I like how they get fruitier and fruitier as they go
That's
along.
literally Charlie.
That was my Long Island ice cream I had for my birthday.
Very nice.
Oh, I love Long Island iced tea. Oh, I take it back. Being a student.
13.
It's not hard to not see what there is, because they're trying to catch your attention. It's the two girls from the bath. They are dancing nearby as seductively as they think a dragonborn would be seduced by a human. It's up to you what you do as Dungeons and Dragons.
A dragonborn's like snakes.
I just described the situation. You do what you do with it.
What was that?
A dragonborn like snake. Snakes have two penises in case one steps off.
Can I huff at them and walk over to Charlie?
You can.
I want to make myself look as uncool and unattractive as possible, so I'm going to go and dance with Charlie.
You do so, and Charlie takes off the eyeball hat and puts it on you and transfers the dancing lights onto you. You now look uncool. They aren't interested anymore.
Yeah.
they recede from you as Charlie embraces you and is kind of doing the thing like where you go under his arm and then he goes under your arm.
Do you know how small Charlie is compared to
Yeah,
me?
I know, that's why it's so hilarious. But you're like, he's doing it like that, but then you have to go under his wing as well. So
and I've got like a foot high eyeball on my head as well. So I'm like, what, like 8 foot, 9 foot something?
It's just, there's like humans and everything else, and there's just this giant dragonborn with an eyeball, like with orbiting lights on the head.
How does a dragonborn with social anxiety stop 2 girls following him? Put a foot high eyeball on his head.
Yeah.
Dancing lights.
So we're going to leave there for a second. We're just going to go over to Sariel. So Sariel, you're in this.
Meanwhile, back to civilization.
You are climbing the stairs, and you can see the sun. The sun's when you're crossing the bridge, the sun was low in the sky, and you're led through a succession of stairs and little corridors and stuff that go up the tower. And you smell gets slightly stronger as you get nearer the top.
Can I do a history check to see if I can remember what that smell is?
No, you've made your perception. Your perception would have picked it up, but you don't know what it is at the moment. And it seems to be stronger as you go up the tower. You get to, there are a couple of doors, mostly just wooden doors. As you reach the top, there are bigger doors, like they look more secure, maybe.
Yeah.
And you are led to a room through one of these doors, and there is a ladder in the center of this room, and this room is massive and circular. And there is a ladder in the center, and he stealth gestures to go up. And do you go up?
I go up.
You climb up, and there is the prince, and he's draped in this silken robe, like almost like a almost like a smoking jacket type thing. Imagine that combined with like a wizard's cloak.
Yeah.
So it's that, and it's a dark blue fabric. It's silk that kind of doesn't disguise his form at all. So clings, but is flowing, if that makes sense. And he says, "My dear elven, welcome to my observatory." And you look around, and there is a whole series of like mechanics and cogs and things, and a huge dome above. And as he says observatory, he starts winding this handle, and the top of this dome opens up, and you are revealed a sky splattered with stars. And you look to the east, and you see the great sun above the horizon, just sort of floating there, nearly touching the curve of Earl. And then you see the black dot of the celestial body move across, and as it reaches the center, it goes purple and blue, and the whole sun is reflected with the light reflecting from the back of this moon, and it's this kind of purpley blue sun with a black dot in the center of it. And he gestures to you to look through the telescope.
Surely, if I'm looking at an eclipse through a telescope, it's going to burn my retina. Is it? Can I look at it through like the way you normally look at an eclipse on a piece of glass?
He sees your hesitation. He says, "It's fine. It won't damage your eyes.
Are you sure?
There are filters."
Okay.
And he says,
So,
"You're really that worried?" And he peers through it. See, nothing at all.
okay, so I hesitantly look through.
Okay, make a perception check.
So I'm being distracted by drinks for Charlie. I've lost my bloody the game completely. Sorry, bear with me.
Sorry.
And then down this.
Love it. What is it?
Pink pigeon rum.
Are we getting silly with Charlie drinks now, are we? Okay.
No, there's actually a drink called Pink Pigeon, and it's rum. And I was like, is there a pigeon cocktail? And then I saw Pink Pigeon rum. I was like, that's what Charlie's gonna be drinking.
14.
You peer through the scope, and the filter is so dark that it changes the color of the sun. For some reason, this filter is green, or the combination makes it look green as you stare through. And this allows you to see deep onto the object in front, but with the sun's blinding light behind it, even with your elf eyes, you don't pick up exactly its shape or form, but you can see the sort of you can't make out what it's made of, but you can tell that it is irregular at this magnification. From a great distance, it looks like a circular dot, but as you peer at it through the telescope, you can tell it's irregular in form.
Is it like a hexagon or Frisian or like, got anything more than that?
No, it's just irregular. You can tell that it is not as the depictions of it are circular in flags and everything, but when you look at this magnification, you can tell it is an irregular shape.
Right. Okay.
He says, as you're peering through, and there's kind of like a chair to sit in to do it, like like how they are at observatories, that kind of can move with it, and you kind of feel his presence behind you, and you smell this aftershave and oils and stuff. Hears you and kind of leans over the chair and says, "Beautiful, isn't it?"
Yes, it is.
And that's where we'll end this episode.
I've been introduced by a prince. Woo!
Oh, man.
Yeah, I thought as well when you said it.